Hope you guys are doing well, and hopefully my internet isn't ass right now, because we love the monopoly of Charter Spectrum. A shitty service. But we're just going to be moving stuff over. Already cleaned up a lot over here. So if you guys are wondering, it's been a couple of years in the progress. I kind of took breaks and partially gave up on the experimental design because I didn't have confidence that it would work. Because I don't have exact parts that I could easily replicate in a 3D layer. Kind of had some doubts about its feasibility to make, but I've done some more testing and I definitely believe it'll work, so. The first thing we had to do was get rid of the, our goal, me and my dad's goal is like we're still gonna work more stuff on the Etsy. I kind of still recovering from the mental and physical burnout. But I do have some copper hearts and crosses that I gotta make and finish, and some other stuff. But we're gonna work on trying to get this wall blocked off with something, so that way there's no dust buildup. So when we're forge welding or anything, it doesn't get behind stuff and catch dust on fire. So safety is number one priority. But our goal is to keep the good steel, that we buy from the local steel supply place, stays indoors and doesn't get rusty, because some of that stuff we wanted to not have any pitting or things that would mess with dimensions. One. So, obviously this round tubing is not the best shape for our power hammer, but this is what I have. I don't have infinite money for stuff. I don't make a ton of money for my full-time job, and I got medical stuff that I got to pay off, so this is what we got. Ideally, I'd have a big half-inch or thicker plate that this column would be welded to, and it would also be a square thing, but I just don't have it. So to compensate for our lack of square edges, I just found I got some C-channel that we're going to use a marking laser to help line things up, but this way we can weld this round tubing and we'll have and flat pieces that we'll be able to weld to and make the support arms. But I gotta move everything to the side because right now we got stuff in the way. Now, the type of power hammer that I'm be trying to make is inspired by Cody Ironworks. If you look up Cody Ironworks, he's an also blacksmith. He's got a lot of cool videos just showing him different stuff that he works on and makes. But like 4 or 5 years ago, he just threw together a simple small power hammer. And I like that design because I think if I make it the way that I want to make it, besides making it have a larger ram, I might be able to make it mechanically more efficient, maybe. It might be more, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but the leverage seems like it might be there. So. And my goal for the power hammer ram, the actual weight moving up and down, is at least 60 pounds. If I can make it heavier and if it works, because I have a power 220-volt motor that we can use, and we have the offset wheel cam and stuff. So if I can have a heavier hammer, that way, my goal with this hammer is to try to make it so that it doesn't just have more weight. I'm trying to see if I can make it so that it's able to move the weight more efficiently, have more stroke, more distance to accelerate. So I have room for top tooling, like for hand tooling, like with the treadle hammer, but also because it has more distance moving up and down, there should be more force. So. If you look back on my YouTube shorts, I started this stuff a couple of years ago while I was still in college. And I'm going to start this coming, hopefully before this new year, have this thing up and running. Because there's a couple of knife shows in March that I want to be able to go to locally, where there's going to be actual serious collectors. So I want to be able to make some Damascus and wrought iron, sand mines, stuff like that. But while you guys are here, go check out my long form videos too. I have a video on how to make your own Venturi burner from 9 plumbing parts, 9 total parts. It's a couple of plumbing parts, gas valve, and some gas nozzle, and some solder, and you can make your own Venturi burner. Know what the parts are, so you have extras if there's anything that breaks, and you can be more self-sufficient. And I also have a video out on how to make this Venturi burner forge. What do you mean, what happened? I just kind of had burnout from overdoing stuff stupidly. Not putting things out and but I got some of this 1/2-inch plate that will be the main ground plate. So I'm gonna take you guys up a stand for a second. So we also have the other 8-inch diameter piece of steel that like 136 pounds. So just those two together is going to be like 200 something pounds. We got this plate, which I'm going to square up, but this plate will be put on the concrete. We're going to make a concrete, where me and my dad, we're going to cut, once we get this power hammer line, and we make sure that we have some tests with this, we're going to be able to cut the concrete and dig it out and put a footing, reinforced concrete and rebar, just where this plate is, so that way it doesn't completely shake the garage and it doesn't crack the door. So. But one of the things I'd like to do before we move all this stuff is these base legs are way too long and it'll have too much flex in it, so we're gonna cut it short. I luckily do have new bandsaw cutting blades for the portable bandsaw. So we're gonna try to move this. I might be able to use the anvil to help hold this. I gotta move a bunch of shit over here. So we're just moving stuff right now. We gotta cut the legs. I actually think we'll use the anvil to help this. This is definitely tall enough. Okay, that'll work. Awesome. Because we need to cut. We only need about a foot from here because I weld supports in this, so it's not too flexible. But this is too long and has too much leverage against this, and also because I suck at welding, both of these kind of warped, kind of went. I don't know what to do with my hands. Kind of kicked up. Before we do any cutting, we gotta do measuring, so we make sure we're not messed up, because we don't want to cut the wrong stuff. We'll go 14. grandmother, if she is asleep. Actually, where is my speed square? Velocity kills because speed is square. I gotta plug the phone in to get this low on battery. I do say so, you're low on battery. And I am low on whatever bullshit. Hello. Nagasaki, Kawasaki, Oklahoma. If you know the movie, scary movie, that's what it reminded me of. Yeah, these extra pieces that we cut up, we can use for other sports. I know it's getting colder, but why the hell do I get jets? I'm not talking football team. And anyone wondering for the previous stream, we were trying to use the Welding cutting bandsaw. I did accidentally put the blade upside down, so that's why we weren't cutting shit. That was I tried filming before. But we don't throw these bandsaw blades out. We get to save them. I want to be able to make some Damascus from them eventually. And it's alright. Whenever you want to go buy a box of the metal cutting bandsaw blade, whether it's from online or Home Depot, buy 2 boxes. Gotta buy 2 boxes so that way I'm gonna replace blades and that extra. Gets 2 blades. Honestly, not much. Actually, you guys are gonna watch me struggle. Come on, you bastard! Fuck you, Scott. I want pictures of Spider-Man. Take that, man. Oh my god. No, bitch, I'm 5. Why, you don't like singing the haze of God? But if you mount your metal cutting bandsaw to a post, make sure the blade is facing the right way. I didn't do that the last time, because I was rushing like a dumbass. And you gotta be careful when you do this because you want to pop out. This. But you can bring it up. Always do that plug if you don't want to lose a finger. And before we take it off the post and use it, I'm just going to make sure it tracks it properly. Alright, that works. If you're wondering what the power ram is going to be, it's this 2.5. We're going to weld. We're going to weld some 1-inch flat plate to it. Might be thicker, might not be. Figure that out. I'm going to grab an extension cord, small one. I'm just putting a dust mask on because the shop is all dusty and I don't like it handling that stuff. So.
No one cared who I was before the match. Holy shit, my hair's crazy. No one cared who I was before the match. Hey, that's pretty straight. That's pretty good. Oh.
We can fix that. Yeah, I can use the angle grinder. I kind of was doing this left-handed, but.
Yeah, I was kind of holding it left-handed, so I kind of did not have an angle on it, but I mean, still cut clean. I had it a little bit cattywampus, but we'll be able to use an angle grinder, finish this little bit off. But when you have a properly sharp blade on that portable bandsaw, it works great. When you use the tool right-handed, nice and straight cut. When you use the tool left-handed, a little bit messed up, but that's okay. I mean, I might just leave this because I don't think that really affects much of anything. Let's screw it. That is some thick angle iron. The cut when I cut it with my right hand wasn't perfect, but it was still pretty damn good. It was almost. Kind of using my anvil to help take up a lot of the weight so I don't hurt myself. So, kind of resting the support column on the anvil, which is just 4-inch round tubing. It's what I had at the time. It's not the best material for what we're trying to do, but it's what I had at the time and what I have currently, so. This up. It's not that heavy, but it's lever is my dear Watson. Probably gonna have to move the anvil. That's pretty square. So we're gonna go outside real quick. So this is the old anvil from Stompy. This is some 6-inch square tubing that I built some scrap steel and sand. That's a big inch thick plate, and then another inch thick plate or whatever that is. This weighs 156 pounds. We got me and Dad last year and the other day we were working on this. This is like a 7-inch, maybe. I think this is a 7-inch, 130 something pounds. Then we got this plate, which is actually my first anvil. It's like an 1.5 inches thick. This weighs like 20 or 30 pounds. So we'll be able to weld this to this. And because this is wider than this, it'll be the base. And then we'll be able to weld this on top of that. And then this plate here, I'm gonna cut it a little bit more square. Will be, so this I-beam part right down here with touching the floor, I'm actually going to cut 1/2 inch away from this, so that way I can actually slide this underneath. So it's not going to be welded to this because I want this angle removable, but it'll be able to take up less space. But the steel plate is going to have a footing that we're going to cut into the concrete, and that way we'll be able to bolt the anvil to the footing and also be able to bolt the anvil to the power hammer. So it's like trying to basically make it similar to like how like a lot of the Bradleys and other power hammers where like the main anvil can be separated from the body, so that way it's easier to transport, especially this thing, because it's going to be a weird long piece. So but we can't have it too close to over here because we want to be able to put our wood stove back in, and we're going to have it kicked out more. But things are getting there. Got these railroad bolts, which I'm going to form the head to make like an armorer's attachment so we can start forming metal. But things are getting there. I still got to organize all this crap. But thank you guys for watching. I got to go to bed so I can get up early and work on this. I'll probably live stream in the morning, but thank you guys. Be safe, have fun, make cool stuff. Bye!